Welcome to the Romans 911 Project podcast, where stepping into the reconnection in the one new man and the fullness of John 17 love and unity is becoming a reality. In each episode, join Grant Berry to drill down deeper into this reconnection and alignment message and the final reforms for the ecclesia, for the church. As we will discover, the reconnection becomes a power key to open the door to God's end-time plans, to help restore the family of God for the preparation of the bride, the last great harvest, and Israel's salvation, all of which will lead to the Lord's return. The reconnection message has end-time consequences for us all. Here's Grant.
Beloved, we've been talking about a shift now in the church as we move into the fullness of the Gentiles, and so it says all Israel will be saved. There's a shift that needs to take place in the family. In the last podcast, we talked about how the Lord has been equitable with both Jew and Gentile, with the time that he has spent 2,000 years to the Jews and 2,000 years from the time of Jesus up until this modern day. And now there's a shift into the union and a reconciliation that's needed. And it's so important for us to be able to discern this and the time that we're moving into, so that we can come into agreement with the Father's plans to restore his family, which has everything to do with this end-time revival. In fact, beloved, it is the epicenter. And until the church begins to fully recognize this, honestly, how can the Father send the fullness of glory upon his body when the body is so divided? Surely he has to help to clean us up. And trust me, beloved, the Father is more than willing. The problem is usually with us. And the Lord is looking now to release his mercy. For God has given all of us over to disobedience when it comes to this family reunion, reconciliation, that he may have his mercy on us all. The Father wants to release his mercy, wash away the negative influences that the enemy has sown into the body and uses to keep us separated and divided, and reestablish that John 17:23 unity, foundationally between Jew and Gentile, and then between all races, that the fullness of glory may be released on us. And it's so important for us to be able to recognize and discern the time. And what I want to focus on today is a special bond of love and unity. And there's a beautiful picture here in the Hebrew scriptures of Ruth, the Moabitess, and her mother-in-law, Naomi, that I believe the Lord is beckoning his body into at this time. It represents a special type of spiritual union, if you like, a type of remarriage between Jew and Gentile that will truly help us to reconnect as family in the one new man. Beloved, look at the love and unity between Jew and Gentile in the book of Acts. Did they have the glory of God? Were there signs and wonders everywhere that followed? If we want the power, if we want the fire, as I always say, we need to reconnect the wire. That's one of the chapter names in the Romans 911 book. Ruth had an overwhelming dedication and commitment to her Jewish mother-in-law, and then to her subsequent marriage to Boaz, the kinsman redeemer, who really is a type of Christ, right? In this picture. And you can read that story in the book of Ruth, and you can also read more about this in Robert Wolf's book on Awakening the One You Met, with a chapter written by Sandra Toplinsky specifically on this subject. Beloved, I want to submit to you that there is a circle of love now that the Father is beckoning us into. Who was it that laid down their lives for God's children from the nations to come to Yeshua, if it wasn't for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Jews that founded the church? Granted, it took them a while to get that message, but then after recognizing it, Peter's experience with Cornelius, Acts 15, they gave their lives. They laid down their lives for God's children from the nations to be able to receive Yeshua and to become one with them. And that oneness was special. And I want to submit to you, beloved, the enemy has robbed the church of that oneness. And the Lord now looks to restore it, to lead us into Israel's awakening, which will complete the bride and ready us for his coming. And so there's this circle of love now the Father is beckoning us into, that we would be able to release the mercy of God that he has given to us as a result of the disobedience of those that rejected Messiah, that we now would release that mercy back to them. And beloved, who is going to call on the bread? It wasn't God in Ezekiel chapter 37, 9 to 11, 9:11. It wasn't the Father. He instructed the prophet to call on the winds, that the breath of God may enter these slain. And I want to submit to you, that is a prophetic picture of the end time body of Messiah coming into a beautiful love and union, reuniting. And I think there's something significant about us reuniting related to the type of supplication that the Father is looking for from a reunited one you man, to cry out, to push that this baby that does not want to be born, Israel, would come back to life, be reborn through the cries and the mercy released through his end time body. And so there's this incredible picture and union that is needed now, that has really been hidden from the church age. But now, as we move from the time of the Gentile, the church age, into the fullness of both Jew and Gentile, I call this the time of the one new man. There is a call and a role for us to play that we're just beginning to learn about and understand. That as God awakens his church to become the salvific agent, we are able to fulfill our end time roles and the edicts that the Lord gave to us regarding Israel. Remember, Romans 11:13, I am talking to you Gentiles. Draw Israel to jealousy. Love them on account of the patriarchs. Don't ever be arrogant thinking that you've replaced them. And with the mercy I've given you, would you give that back to them? This is the circle of love I'm talking about. And it completes the Father's plans, because if you think about it in this light, the Jews helped to bring Yeshua to us. Now the Gentiles must bring Yeshua back to them. And the end result is an empowering of the gospel to the nations, the fulfillment of the end time harvest, Israel awakening, world redemption, and the Lord returning. Beloved, now that's a wow. So next time we meet, we're going to talk deeper and in more detail about this plan that we call God's glory plan. So until then, may the God of Israel richly bless you. Lots of love in Yeshua.
Thank you, Grant, for that insightful discussion. To dialogue with Grant and Hallie, please send comments and questions to email@romans911.org. Again, that's email@romans911.org. If you resonate with the Romans 911 Project, please pray about partnering with us to bring this reconnection message to the threshold of the church. Sign up for our monthly email. Join our global virtual meetings with other believers to dialogue and pray together. And most important, read the Romans 911 book, Time to Sound the Alarm, and view the Romans 911 Study Guide 12 to 14-hour video teachings, which are free when you purchase the study guide. The Romans 911 books and teachings are transformational into God's end-time plans to prepare the bride and reform the church. They help to create the breakthrough that will change the world. The reconnection message is like a golden key from the heart of the Father to restore love and unity in God's family that opens the door to the fulfillment of Yeshua's prayer in John 17. And it establishes the pathway for the body of Messiah, the body of Christ, to receive the greater glory. But this reconnection message in the one new man has been hidden during the church age, in the mystery to reawaken Israel to faith, and is only just now coming to light. That's why we need your help to fund this project, to bring the message forth, to help us blow the holy shofar, to awaken the greater church into this restoration. Now is the time. Would you pray to give chai, to give life to the reconnection, to reach the church and the messianic body, and help unite the family of God? To fund the Romans 911 Project, we have created the Give Chai Life campaign. Chai is a Hebrew word meaning life, but it also represents the number 18. And for just one chai, $18 a month, you can make a difference. Please be prayerful about this. We can't do this without precious saints like yourself who are beginning to get this revelation to help us bring this message before the church. For more information on the Romans 911 Project, please visit our website at romans911.org. It's easy to remember, romans911.org. Please also subscribe to the Romans 911 Project, wherever you listen to podcasts at the end.